What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Dave and I'm a recovering drug addict, and over the course of the past few years I've managed to completely transform my life, building myself from within, doing the inner work and getting really clear and really intentional about the way I'm living, and about the kind of life I want to live. And by doing this, I've started to be able to make great progress in my life and basically reclaim my life, take my life into my own hands, and really start building the dream life that I want to live. And this is what I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about helping other young men, really start living their dream. Start reclaiming your life, reclaiming your energy, stop fucking around, and start becoming who you say you want to be. I've come up with a framework called the 6 Pillars of Self-Mastery. This is the framework that goes through every step that I've done myself personally, and that's been able to help me get really clear on what direction I'm going in and on where I want to go in life. So, number one step is awareness. Now, we need awareness as the foundation of our personal transformation and building an intentional life, because if we have no awareness, we're going to keep playing out the same old patterns that are keeping us stuck in our old lives. These behaviors, turning to vices, doing unproductive, unhelpful behaviors. It might even just be like limiting beliefs, so we have to have awareness, because awareness is what allows us to be able to work with these patterns, these negative patterns, these limiting beliefs, these things that are holding us back. If we have no awareness of them, they're going to carry on playing out in our lives. So the number one thing we need is awareness. This is the foundation. And we can start gaining more awareness for a few simple practices: meditation, journaling, and doing reflection. So taking an inventory of your life. This is a really important step. Right now, we have to take an inventory of where we're at exactly right now. What are the things that are holding us back? What are the patterns that we want to try and break free from? What's our mindset like? So we do this inner reflection work, and that's going to help us gain awareness. Step number 2 is discipline. So now we have awareness of the pattern. We need discipline to be able to break that pattern. So discipline is about creating structure. It's about creating habits and routines that serve you. It's about cutting out the things that are weakening you and building on the habits and behaviors that are strengthening you. So it's about incorporating new habits into your daily lifestyle. It's about maybe getting on top of your sleep and your nutrition and your exercise. It's about quitting vices, and it's about having a structured morning routine, going to bed on time, and building a weekly schedule that really moves you in the direction you want to move to. No one lives an amazing life, a life beyond their wildest dreams, without intention, without things being done on purpose. No one just accidentally falls into their dream life. We need some foundation of structure and a plan. So discipline is going to help us to keep promises to ourselves and to start becoming the man we respect and start moving us towards that ideal version of ourselves. If we lack discipline, the results we get in life are going to show that. So discipline is a fundamental step on this journey. So the next step is cultivation. And what do I mean by cultivation? I mean cultivating your creative energy. So as men, we have a vast well or reservoir of our creative potential, which is our sexual energy. So practices you might do here are things like semen retention or conscious sexuality, the Tantra or the Taoist sexual practices, which is about retaining this life force and then also cultivating it and working with it and being able to channel it in a different way. So we might be doing practices like breath work, meditation, qigong, working with our internal energy. And this is going to help us build a state of vitality. It's going to raise our frequency, so we're more magnetic, we're more abundant. And it's going to make us resonate and vibrate at a higher frequency so that we can draw in more high frequency opportunities, people, circumstances into our life. So we're building this life force, we're protecting our life force and our vitality, and we're increasing our capacity as a human being to hold more energy, to hold more life. And then it's going to give us this vast amount of creative energy that we can then start channeling and directing into whatever projects we're working on. So discipline helps us get to this point. We work on our health, we work on our vitality, we're cutting out porn, we're cutting out excessive ejaculation, and we're building our creative life force. Step number 4 is, once we've built that life force, we've increased our container to hold more life, we've got more energy, we've got more drive, we've got more creativity. Now we have to train our attention so that we can then start directing this energy, because our attention is the most valuable currency we have as human beings, more so than time even, because what you direct your attention to is where your energy goes. So there's a saying in Chinese medicine, or in the Tao, Yi Dao Qi Dao, which is where the mind goes, the qi flows. This is where your mind goes, your energy, your life force goes. So we need to be able to learn to become very single pointed and focused in our attention. So this means cutting out distractions. It means being pretty ruthless about anything that is draining your energy. And this could be toxic relationships, it could be seeking validation, it could be social media, comparison, gossip, drama, news, lust. All of these things are sucking your energy, sucking your attention outwards from you, and it's fragmenting you. So even if you've got this reservoir of life force and creative energy, you can't do much with it, because it's completely scattered in all these directions. I'd say social media is probably the biggest drain, along with porn, comfort seeking, pleasure seeking behaviors. So we have to become very conscious of where our energy is being leaked, and then we train our attention through practices of meditation, and we'd be able to become very good at directing our life force. The next step is intention. So now we have to become very intentional. We've cultivated this energy, we're able to cut out distractions and direct that energy. Now we have to become intentional about what we're putting that energy into. Intention is about getting clear on your goals. It's about getting clear on your values, visualizing your dream life, writing down how you want to be living, who do you want to become, and becoming very clear on your vision for yourself. What are you trying to build? What are you trying to accomplish? Things we can do at this level is stuff like doing mood boards, things like making a document about your dream life. How does your dream life look? Who are you around? What are you doing? What values are you living by? So this is about becoming very intentional about who you're becoming and the project or the life that you're building. And this should be, your work, your life, your career, your fitness, your spiritual goals, everything should be integrated together. And that brings us to the final step, which is integration. Your work and your purpose should not be separate. It should be integrated into a holistic lifestyle. After finding your purpose, it's about figuring out, how are you going to create a living from doing this? How are all your separate goals in terms of finances, relationships, health, career, education, business? How is it all fitting into a single picture, that is integrated? And so this is the final step, integration. This is where the work becomes not about what you're doing, but it becomes who you are. It becomes a lifestyle, and you start to embody that. It's where everything starts to find synergy. All these systems that you're putting in place start to work together. The jigsaw puzzle of your life starts to make more sense, and as all these pieces fit together, you see how it creates a total bigger picture for your life. So that's a very brief overview of the 6 pillars there of self-mastery. And I'm currently developing a course on this, so keep an eye out for that. And that'll be a 6-week self-guided course with weekly one-to-one calls with me as well. And that'll be step-by-step introduction on each of these pillars, and some information, useful learning, some guided practices, some exercises that we can do. And this is going to really help us become very clear and intentional about the life we're living and the dream life we're moving towards. It's going to help you master yourself on all levels and look at every single aspect of your life and start to move forward with those things. So if that interests you, please subscribe, give the video a like, leave a comment, reach out to me. I'd be happy to connect and share experience and talk with you guys. And if this kind of topic interests you, subscribe for more videos on self-mastery, personal development, spiritual growth, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.